For architecture to be really great and successful, it has to do both, balance the function of the building, both its internal function and its relationship to the city, to the street scene, to its neighbors. And the beauty has to be one that when people look at it, or walk in the building, or work in the building, that they feel very honored and excited to be in something special. So they're both important. And in the case of Versione, I think it's been very successful. So there's a composition of one tower, which is 30 stories in height, and two lower buildings, which are roughly 9 stories in height, which work together in a linear fashion, encouraging people to move along the sidewalks, the streets, enjoy the shops, the restaurants, so they feel the presence of the buildings in this linear fashion, which is very exciting because as one normally walks down a street, they're experiencing the building. A financial crisis is serious for everyone in the country, and certainly it affects architects, because without a need for buildings or the money to build the buildings, architects aren't going to be commissioned to design them. In terms of our firm, Kohn, Pedersen, Fox, back in 1985, listening to an economist who was predicting by 1990 there would be a major downturn in the United States, I decided that we should become a global firm. So we began to pursue work in London, Paris, Germany, Japan, and China. And by 1990, had an office in London. We're working in London and in Germany, and then eventually in Tokyo shortly after, and then China, Hong Kong, and then China. Doing that allowed us to escape the downturn that did take place in 1990, and there have been others since then. 2008 was a serious one. So being global allowed us to continue to work, and in fact, today we're working in 26 countries simultaneously, all whose economies are good. I am very sad and sorry for those architects in Italy who are unable to work outside of Italy because the economy is terrible, and obviously there are very few jobs. My advice would be is to try to pursue work outside of Italy or any country where there's a bad economy. Look, things could get worse, not just better. I mean, more jobs will be lost, and with technology, we are going to see more jobs lost, and the economy could be a bigger problem. So architects have to prepare themselves to either be global in a sense or out beyond their own borders. So for firms that do very large projects, as we do, it is important to work in many places. If in case of Italy, which is going through a tough time, and it's got to be tough on the architects. And there are many talented architects here. A couple of things you could do. One, the government and private and companies have to realize that they can improve their facilities, and with planning, improve their cities and towns, and money should be invested in that service and hire good planners and good architects. Small buildings are equally important, and keeping them upgraded and improved, adding on to, I think there's good work there. If, again, the owners will go along with that, but they should, because they get something for it. And finally, I think maybe architects have to think about creative ways to generate new business, whether it's going outside their borders or finding new ideas that could really help their country, their city, their town, and come up with plans to do that. So you got to be creative in difficult times, because otherwise, if you let the difficulty take over, you'll fall way behind and be hard to catch up.